Alright guys, so we are going to start knocking together our food for Bryan. Now the first thing that we need to do is start getting the Rumaki ready, because that has a bit of a marinade element and takes a little bit of time. So, first thing we need to do is get some bacon ready to wrap the Rumaki in. For anybody who doesn't know, Rumaki is basically liver, water, chestnuts in like a kind of teriyaki glazed seasoning wrapped in bacon on a toothpick. Cool little appetizer, really tasty, nice and easy to make. So, let's do that. First thing, you want to get the best bacon you can. You want to go to a butcher's for that. I've gone to my local butcher's and we're just going to lay out some nice thick strips of streaky bacon. We're probably not going to use all of this, but I bought it like 3 days ago, so it needs cooking anyway. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go and throw this in the oven on medium low for about 10 minutes. We don't want to fully cook it, we just want to sweat it out, get a bit of the fat out of it and sort of dehydrate it a little so that it's easier to sort of roll our Rumaki in, and then when we properly cook it, it'll crisp up nicely then. So we're just going to go and stick this in the oven for about 10 minutes, and while we're doing that, we're going to get our marinade ready. Let's do that. Okay, so for our marinade, we're going to grab a pan, because we're going to cook this off after we've marinated our liver in it, because we're going to use that as a glaze. So first thing we need is about half a cup of soy sauce. Half a cup of soy sauce. And then we need a good splash of cream sherry. Yeah, pale cream sherry. So maybe about 1/4 cup. 2 big fat cloves of garlic. Big nog of ginger. Ow. Don't want any of that stuff, you just want all of this stuff here, look. Some Chinese 5 spice. So let's sprinkle that. Juice of 1 lemon. You won't find the 1 lemon thing on many recipes, but I've tried it a couple of times and I find that the lemon just like adds a bit of extra brightness and I prefer it, so that's what we're gonna do. And then we're just gonna give this a little mix around. Put that to one side. Make sure you get lots of lemon juice in your fresh burn on the palm of your hand, because it really fucking hurts. Now you want some liver. In most of the recipes it says to use chicken livers. I don't like chicken livers, I prefer pork liver or beef liver, so I got pork. That's what we're going to be using. Now we're looking at making chunks of liver that are roughly about half the size of a cocktail sausage, because that's kind of what we want for a bit, so something like about that. So we're going to cut a few of those off. Okay, and then we're going to throw our liver straight into our marinade. And then make sure to wash your hands and wash your chopping board, so that all of the people who watch your show don't think you're a dirty bastard and that you give yourself fucking salmonella all the time and that's why you were sick and you had the shits for ages. We've got the bacon still cooking off. It's going to take about another 2 or 3 minutes. So we're just going to get our water chestnuts ready, because we need those for assembly. We're going to need toothpicks. So we'll just throw a few of these out ready. I'm going to have a beer. So these crime and nourishment ones always get me fucking agitated and stressed, because I want it all to be so fucking perfect. And it never is, but we can but try. So we've got some crinkle cut fries that we cooked last night that we're also just reheating in the air fryer right now. So they're going to be ready about the same time as everything else, hopefully. And yeah, we're getting there. So as you can see, we haven't cooked, but we have lightly sweated off our bacon. Just going to let that cool for a sec, and then we'll start assembling our Rumaki. Okay, so when you're about to get your Rumaki ready for assembly, you're going to need to get a sieve, and just separate off your rumaki and the marinade, because we're going to need the marinade. So what I'm going to do is place all the liver on the side here and throw all of the garlic and ginger back in there. And then this is going to go in the pan, like so. And we're going to stick this on the heat and we're going to reduce this down. And then this is going to become our glaze that we use to glaze our rumaki with during its cooking. All really simple. Right, so putting this together. We need a strip of our bacon. We need a nice big chunk of our liver. And we need to figure out how much of our bacon we actually need. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be about so much. Get one of our water chestnuts. Stick it in the middle. Put our liver on top. And then we're going to sheath him in our bacon. And then we are going to stab him through his heart. Like so. And that makes us a nice little rumaki package, which we are then going to put back on our tray and put back in the oven. So let's see if we can just churn these out. And there we go. That is our rumaki prepared, ready to go back in the oven. This is going to go back in the oven on medium high for about 15 to 20 minutes, just till the liver's cooked through. And then we're good to go. Every 5 minutes or so, something like that, maybe a bit less, what we're going to do is we're going to get a basting brush. We're going to take our heated up rumaki mixture here. And we're just going to throw it on. Give them a good soak in it. Right, let's go and throw these in the oven and see how we do. Right, okay, so I'm just using a little bits of leftover bacon here just to take all the grease out of them. So we're going to use that grease out the bacon as well as our sausage to make the sausage gravy, just to make it that extra bit fattier, which, you know, who the fuck doesn't want that? We have our reheated crinkle cut chips, as requested by Bryan. So we're going to keep those warm. What we need to do is get some sausage meat, which has just exploded everywhere. Lovely. We're going to get a good chunk of sausage meat, and we're going to break it into little pieces, and we're going to put it in our pan in little tiny bits. And then we're going to get a spatula or something like this, and we're going to move it all around the whole time, breaking it up into little pieces. And then we're going to add a sprinkle of flour to it, which is going to coat the sausage and also soak up a lot of the oil, which is going to mean that when we add milk to it in a minute to emulsify it into like a nice gravy sauce, the emulsification process will go a lot easier. I've actually done this before and made biscuits and gravy, so maybe just go back to that episode if you want to see it done properly. No escape, no surrender. Okay, just going to let that hang out there for a second. Okay, so we have our rumaki here. As you can see, looks lovely. But we're just going to let that cool down. So once your sausage is cooked through and all separated nicely and coated in your flour, we're going to add a big splash of milk to it. You always want to use full fat milk, because who the fuck's having diet fucking sausage gravy? Nobody. And then we just want to go in and gently mix this in, press all your sausage out and cook it through, and it will slowly start to thicken. And then basically you wait till you get to the right level of thickness and then you take it off. And while this is cooking, we want to throw in a nice big fat pinch of salt or two. And say Bryan said he didn't like it with too much black pepper, so we're not going to go crazy, but I like a really nice chunk of black pepper in mine. And all the time you want to be like squashing your sausage. I just said squashing my sausage. So in the interim, I got everything ready and cooked and stuff, and then kind of forgot to actually say that. And then Bryan called, and I got a bit caught off guard. So we're just going to jump straight to the bit where Bryan joins us, and we show him what we've made. Cool. You good to go?
Yep.
Look at that. Right. Well, okay. That looks beautiful, actually. Wow.
Let's see. I might have to tilt it a little.
Awesome. Well, what I've got then is welcome back, by the way, Bryan. Great to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
So we have. I've just been cooking for the last like half an hour or so, and I think I've got everything just about ready.
Awesome.
So we've got crinkle cut fries, reheated from last night.
Oh yeah.
So, and we've got a nice. You might be familiar with these.
Hell yeah.
Made out of cardboard, so you can't kill anybody with it.
Yeah.
So we're going to do you a nice big pile of the fries there, and then we have a nice ladle of I'll bring this over to you in a sec so you can see properly.
There you go.
Nice big ladle of the sausage gravy. We have some lovely freshly made rumaki.
Nice.
As this is your last prison meal, I thought one thing you might be struggling for in prison is getting laid. So I've got you some Beavertown IPA.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. You know, I thought when I was riding my bike this morning, I said, oh, I should have had you make some Pruno, prison wine.
Some Pruno, yeah, exactly. Well, I thought some booze might help.
That's awesome.
And then we've also got a nice prison issue chalk ice cream as well.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to bring this over to you so you can have a proper look.
Wow, that's a really good looking meal, really.
How's that look?
Yeah, somebody would really be happy that day.
Yeah.
You would really make somebody's day with that.
Yeah. So first off, I'm going to try this rumaki because this is the first time I've ever made this. And it's such a weird combination, but let's give it a go. Oh, I love like the sort of irony taste of the liver, but then with the sweetness of the sauce and the saltiness of the bacon, you just get everything.
Yeah, it's a good one. My mom would make that sometimes when I was a kid. Like if she had like a Super Bowl party or some type of party or something, she'd make something like that. It was easy, and boy, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I'll bring one over just so you can see. This is what
oh yeah.
And then let's try this. Gravy with the fries. I'm not going to lie. This is what I've been looking forward to the most. Oh, it's so good. You just feel the years of your life disappearing as you eat it.
Yeah. Get 3 people would give me like a lot of people wouldn't want it, and I would get theirs. I would get 3, sometimes maybe even 4 of them.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, and I also saved a little garnish from the leftover
bacon.
The leftover bacon.
Nice.
The rumaki as well.
Wow.
Which I've been snacking on while I've been getting this ready. But there you go. Nice little strips of bacon on top as well.
Yeah, that's really great. That is a great looking last meal right there. Is there a clash between is it a big clash between the rumaki and the fries?
No, not at all, because it's like, because I mean, you know, with rumaki, I assume you don't eat a lot of it. You know, you maybe, you know, you eat 2 or 3 pieces of it, because I think eating too much of it would probably be a bit overpowering. But as a little sort of entree or like a mousse bouche before the meal, it's perfect.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad to do this show because I could all this time I could have been making my own fries and sausage, but it never occurred to me to make it myself. It was just a nostalgic meal thing. And whenever I make food from my garden and stuff, I always make like decadent things, like exciting things I find, and it never even occurred to me that I could make my own French fries and gravy, you know. I had another dream in between these two parts of this episode. I had another dream about cutting someone's head off. Do you want to hear about it?
Yeah, of course I want to hear about it.
It's really strange. On this one, I discovered this new technique for cutting people's heads off really quickly. And what you do is, in my dream, somehow, I don't know how, but it just came to me that when you apply electricity to the muscles, it makes the muscles contract and tighten up really hard.
Yeah.
So that in my dream, when I put electricity to the people's neck, whenever I went to like cut their head off, the skin didn't rotate with the saw because the electricity was making the muscles really tight, and I could just saw right through it really quickly.
Like wood, just like straight through.
And then it was such a big hit because no doctors had ever thought of this yet, like for amputation and stuff. And so I was getting paid to go on like a lecture series and explain to people how to use the electricity to stimulate the muscles.
That's like sort of like a 1900s kind of like crazy doctor with his new technique.
Yeah. Look what I found. I don't know if it'll let me see this. Let's see if it'll let you see it.
Prison for Dummies.
It's all my writings.
Everything you wrote while you were inside.
Right afterwards, all the stuff I wrote afterwards. See if you can see this. No, I've got this weird effect. I thought if you wanted to eat some, I could read you some couple things.
Oh yeah, definitely. Go for
it. This one is called Who Shit on My Tray?
Who shit on my tray? Okay. Perfect.
Let's see. Who shit on my tray? At the DC jail, they brought chow to us on plastic trays stacked up on dollies, rolled through the block, and then stuck through the slots in the cell doors 3 times a day. I was the only white guy, so I ate last. I had a Rastafarian cellmate, and he had to eat last too by default. So by the time we got our food, it was always cold. Cold spaghetti, cold beans, cold potatoes, cold fish sticks, cold everything. It was nasty, and the milk was warm. For 2 weeks, every meal was cold. And when we complained, they'd say, "Shut the fuck up, bitch. White boy eats last." And we also had to eat fast. They were picking up trays off the cell block floor before we even got ours cold. Cooped up in the cell, sick of it, I decided one day not to eat it, but instead, I pulled my orange jumpsuit down and took a shit on the tray and gave it back to him with my cellmate's tray on top. About 30 to 40 minutes later, a huge guy wearing a dishwasher's apron came into the cell block. "Who shit on my tray? Who shit on my tray? Some sick motherfucker up here shit on my tray. Who the fuck shit on my tray?" Steaming mad. After a minute of this, my cellmate put his face to the window in the cell door and yelled, "White boy eats lost, man. White boy eats lost." The dishwasher said, "Where's white boy at?" And I came to the window. "White boy, you shit on my tray?" I said, "Nope, but y'all motherfuckers have been shitting on my tray every day." And my cellmate said, "White boy eats lost, man. White boy eats lost."
That's awesome.
That guy was so pissed, the dishwasher. This one guy was locked in his cell, perpendicular to the TV. So he could only see the speaker. He could never watch the TV. But he had to listen to it 24 hours a day. He couldn't get away from it. And so he decided that if he couldn't see the TV, then nobody else could either. He was like, it would just build up until he just couldn't take it anymore. And because he couldn't see it, he didn't want anyone else to either. So he would store his waste in the toilet in his like juice cartons and milk cartons and stuff like that. And then just launch like a week's worth of sewage at all of the viewers And this one time, this guy, a new guy, people would still go back to watching TV. Like you would think after you got hit with something like that,
Yeah.
with someone else's piss and shit, you wouldn't, at least you wouldn't sit on the same side closest to him. But people would do it. People would forget about it, and then they would get drenched in waste and body fluid time and time again. And I was like, wow, that's really, TV is really powerful, that it would make
Yeah.
you just keep going back and going through that. But then one time, a new guy, we had like these metal chairs with like hollow metal legs, kind of like in the elementary school, like children's school chairs to watch TV. And this one guy was rocking back in the chair like this, and one of the chair legs bent and snapped off. And that same guy put his face to the window in the door and just started screaming. It was like in gibberish, like really demonic type of gibberish. And he's going, like that. And he was like banging on the door with his knees and stuff. And he was like trying to like get his face through that window. And everybody like backed up, and people were like, oh man, if he gets his head through there, he's coming out of there. Like if he gets his head out, he's coming all the way out. And finally his voice got like really hoarse, and he started like slowing down. And it wasn't gibberish at all. What he was screaming was, bitch motherfucker, best give me that goddamn motherfucking chair leg motherfucker. But he was just like so aggressive and trapped that it just sounded like this demonic gibberish. And so the new guy, he was like in the crab walk position, just froze, scared to hell that this guy was going to be coming through this window. And he kicked the chair leg to him. And the guy, like, he just kind of like ducked down, and then you saw him disappear. You didn't see him again. And it was like all of a sudden he was a child and got a teddy bear or something. He got this chair leg, and he was completely docile, like completely, he didn't do the waste or anything for days and stuff. And it was just really crazy. Well, at one point, I guess it was even before that, he had said to me, he said, hey, light skin, or hey, Casper, or something like that. He said, I'm coming out of here on Thursday. I'm getting out. He said, you better pack your shit. And I was like, what for? And he's like, you're KKK, you're Nazi and all this stuff. And I was like, no, but I didn't want to get too close to him because I didn't want to have a discussion with him, because then I thought he could hit me with the feces and stuff. And come to find out, what was happening was my cellmate had fallen in love with someone else. And so he was spreading this rumor to the guards and everybody else that I was like racist and KKK and Nazi and white power and all this stuff.
Get
so
you
that
out.
Out and move his lover in and everything like that. And but then once that came out, I got to stay in the cell, and they moved both of them into two different cell blocks, split them up so he couldn't have the lover like that. But then the guy that was locked down, like he hadn't had a shower and probably, well, I was there, he hadn't had a shower in 8 months, hadn't been out for a phone call, nothing. But because it was so overcrowded, they had special cell blocks where they could keep people locked down, and they had slots in the door. Like at the DC jail, they had slots in the door they could hand to you. But in the prison, they had special blocks for that. But it was so overcrowded with dangerous people, once you stabbed a guard or something, they would just lock you down in your own cell, and they didn't have these slots. They weren't like made for this type of stuff.
Yeah.
So then they had to open this guy's cell 3 times a day and just hand him his tray. And for days, he was just completely docile. He got this chair leg and stuff. It was like it made me, I didn't think of it then, but when I saw the movie with Tom Hanks on the island with the volleyball, and he developed a relationship with the volleyball and stuff, this is what I assumed this guy was doing with this chair leg. He was so crazy about this chair leg, and then he got it and stuff, and then he was like normal. He just like kept to himself and everything. But then one day, the 2 guards and the inmate came around dinner time. They said, pop cell 2. And when they opened the door, he was standing right there with his hands behind his back, and he was like, hi, what are we eating tonight? Like that, just like really super happy and super friendly. And even one of the guards thought, well, this is strange for this guy. And he like gave him like a real hard look and everything, like, what's he doing? And then as soon as that guy looked away, he went like that and knocked all 3 of them out with these mighty blows with this chair leg. And then he was out. And then I saw it. I was like, oh my God, it's Thursday. he's coming to kill me. He told me like last week that he was going to get out and he was going to kill me and stuff. And so then I like really nonchalantly like walked to my cell, then shut my door, like locked myself in the cell and stuff. And then I was watching him, and he was like running to be free. And he would run up the stairs, around the tier, down the stairs, around the block, up the stairs. And then outside they had the guards with the extraction team getting ready and everything. And then as soon as they came in, he ran back to his cell and shut his door like that. And he was just running to be free. I don't think he even was thinking about me. But if I'd have been standing there when he ran by, he might have
I remember that.
But I thought, wow, that was really something. Like I thought, wow, it really is. It's Thursday, and the chair leg hadn't broken yet. And I was just trying to put all this together in my brain. It was like it's really something special.
It just reminds me so much of. I mean, it's much less. The stakes are much less, but it just reminds me of being at school, just like having the kid who said he was going to beat the shit out of you after school, and that feeling of just all day of just the dread that you would have, knowing that this is going to happen later, and that you end up having to run home so you don't get your ass kicked, and
yeah.
Right. Well, I should probably get on with cleaning this kitchen up.
All right, then.
Bryan, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you very, very much for your time and for coming on and sharing all your stories with me.
No problem. I've loved every minute of it.
Well, I get the feeling this won't be the last time we talk to each other.
Awesome.
So take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you soon. And I suppose we should do one last shout out to Jason Fury for introducing us.
Yeah, definitely. He's a great guy. I'm hoping to drive out there and visit him sometime.
Well, if we could tie that into the same time I'm over there, that'd be great.
Cool. Awesome. Have a great day. Evening.
Thank you very much. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Another fat guy could